I'm getting high ground now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to patrol this key area right here. I called in my UAV. My UAV is giving me information, and I'm also looking at where my teammates are on the minimap. So they're directly across from me. So notice how in the beginning of the video, I was talking about zones. I see it in a 4-zone type of map. So right now we're in one specific zone right now. So this area right here. And then the other zone that I was patrolling where I actually earned my gunship was up here, this top left corner. Look at this little ping, this little circle ping around the minimap. So that is actually the bird's eye perk. But check this out. You get on top of this truck and you have a nice line of sight down this area as well as in the middle of the map. So there we go. I was able to get the kill there. We're strictly going to talk about strategy, how to use the minimap, as well as what I personally have done in this gameplay. Keep in mind, a lot of the strategy that I was running throughout this game was purely exaggerated, mainly to prove a point that if you play a specific way, you utilize certain things in the game that are given to you, such as the minimap, knowing where your teammates are, using them as information to help you decide like which part of the map should you be in next. And we're also going to talk about patrolling areas, using your equipment to your advantage, as well as a key perk that actually changed everything for me personally, and I know it will help you guys out as well. Just like with every episode has something different to offer as far as tips go, so make sure to check out my previous videos on how you can improve. So this is a gameplay that we're going to be breaking down on 𝗧𝗘𝗥𝗡𝗡𝗖𝗪, and I'm going to talk to you guys about what I'm doing, why I'm doing, and in turn you guys take some notes, apply it to your game, and see the results come in. So we're just going to play it here and we're just going to break it down play by play, all of my decision making. So this route that I'm taking right here is actually a route that I always take. I'm always on this end of the map right here. So we're going to use this map here as a reference, and we're going to sectionize it, if you want to say that, to about 4 corners of the map. You know, I view 𝗧𝗘𝗥𝗡𝗡𝗖𝗪 as like a square, and each individual square, there's 4 total, has its own patrol areas that you can patrol to protect yourself from opponents who are just camping their spawns, etc., etc. So obviously I died there in that situation, but I mean, you know, you can't always stay alive every single time. The best thing you can do is just do the basics, like pre-aim. Now the thing is, I don't know that these enemies are here. I'm just basing it on the simple fact that we spawn from this side, they spawn from here, and I'm sticking to the outskirts of the map. That eliminates any kind of threat from this area right here, and my teammate is here, so I don't need to worry about this area too much. You know, that's what it's all about, breaking the game down, making it a lot more simple for you. Now I know I'm explaining a lot, and trust me, these are things that go through my mind when I'm playing the game, but the more you play the game, you won't really have to think so hard. It's just going to come naturally. So as you see here, I took out somebody. I'm still pre-aiming. Pre-aiming is the biggest thing you can do in this, guys. You know, don't even try anything like, you know, slide canceling or anything like that around corners. You know, sometimes you may see me do it, but that's just out of, you know, habit. Now let's go ahead and rewind this here. So notice how I put that claymore down. The reason why I put that claymore down is because I'm anticipating that there might be some enemies that are going to come around and flank me. And the reason why I'm also going around this end of the map is because a lot of my teammates are starting to occupy this side. So flanking is basically when you stray away, you lone wolf it from your teammates so that you can attack and surprise the enemy from behind. So the only way to do that is to get away from your teammates, notice where they are on the minimap, and then go the opposite way, attacking the enemy by surprise. So that's why I'm going this way, because I don't want to get into any confrontational gunfights. You know, I just want to keep my streak alive and get the easiest kills possible. It's actually pretty insane how easy it is to get in one-on-one confrontations when you're doing this method. So obviously on a map like 𝗧𝗘𝗥𝗡𝗡𝗖𝗪, it's very small. It's going to be difficult to just kind of pick your own area and stay away from your team. Now check out this little line of sight right here. Not a lot of people know about this, but check this out. You get on top of this truck and you have a nice line of sight down this area as well as in the middle of the map. So there we go. I was able to get the kill there. So now I just call in my UAV. I keep my kill streaks relatively short, but in this gameplay, I specifically wanted to go for a high kill streak, which was the gunship, just to prove a point. You know, you just utilize the minimap and let your decision taking help you get your kill streaks. Notice how I rotated around the map. I safely rotated around the map. I got a few kills along the way, because I know this is a high enemy traffic area. You stay in the middle of the map, you're gonna die each and every single time. It's just gonna be very, very frustrating. It's a no-fly zone in my opinion. But if I do go through here, it's probably because the coast is clear. You know, it really depends on the situation. But more often than not, you should not be traveling across the middle here. So now that I've already made my way around the map, I'm getting high ground now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna patrol this key area right here. I called in my UAV. My UAV is giving me information, and I'm also looking at where my teammates are on the minimap. So they're directly across from me. So I'm actually in a precarious situation because when your teammates are on the other side of the map, there's a high probability that the enemies are going to be in your area or opposite from them. So where am I? I'm opposite from my teammates right now. Look at the minimap. See where the dots are. That's where the opponents are. So right now, I'm just picking off enemies as I see them, as I peek out of the window here. But every time I get a kill, I'm not just going to stick and stay in that window and aim down sight. I'm going to go ahead and check every line of sight that I can and patrol the area. So this is my area right now. I'm gonna kill anyone who wants to come in here. Look at this mini map right here. Look at the dot. So that signifies there's an opponent there. So whenever we call in that UAV, I'm always looking at the mini map because that's gonna give me some information. Yes, the information might be a little bit delayed, but it's information nonetheless, and we're gonna have to just take it. So I'm gonna pre-aim, get ready for this interaction. I'm being super cautious here, maybe too cautious. Okay, so he's not there anymore. So he most likely jumped out the window. That's why I pre-aimed over here. And I'm kind of basically looking for this guy. So this is an example of a line of sight as well. So when I'm looking out the window, I'm looking down this line of sight because I know it's a lane, it's a zone. That's what you got to do. You got to make it a habit. Check every zone, every line of sight, and just keep moving. So I'm going to go ahead and check the stairs here as well. I'm going to pre-aim. I heard his footsteps. So now I'm only a couple kills off my gunship actually. So that happened rather quickly. So the reason why I backed up here is because all of my teammates are on this portion of the map. So with Shoot House being such a small map, it's very, very easy for opponents to travel from point A to point B so quickly. So that means that the enemies are going to be in this area. So that's why I backed up a little bit, because I don't want to be in a situation where I'm too what is that? 1 kill off my gunship or 2? I can't really see. And I don't want to be dealing with multiple enemies at a time. The TTK is extremely fast. So I want to put myself in the best position possible to win gunfights. Now, this is another visual cue that's very underrated. My teammate died here. You see the skull, right? Another secondary cue is look at the tag. So I was telling myself in this gameplay, if that tag disappears, that is my confirmation someone is there. But even though we already knew that, that's something else that you can apply to your game. So watch it, it disappeared. I made the reaction in time and I was able to get the kill. So now I am 1 kill off of my gunship. I backed up a little bit more, still taking a look at that minimap, pre-aiming down the line of sight because that's where I'm anticipating the enemies to be. Even if my teammate is here, I'm still going to check this line of sight because you never know. They could already be rushing in here and they could take out my teammate. And if I'm assuming, and if I'm here on this side of the building and I'm just going to assume my teammate's going to, be my visual cue, they could kill him fast and then me as well in the blink of an eye. So since I'm in this area already, I might as well check that line of sight. So I'm just pre-aiming. Okay, so now I'm in a pretty bad spot right here. So I ran out of ammo. So now what's left to do? You got to find ammo, right? So obviously there's an opponent right there. And this is where things pretty much like went south. I wasn't able to get the kill there. Obviously we didn't have ammo. There's nothing you can do in that situation. But this is not a video on how to like play every single match flawlessly. But the whole key is to just use information in the game to your advantage so that you can stay alive as long as you possibly can. So now we're in the gunship. This is pretty much just point and shoot at this point. And fun fact, this is actually the first time I got the gunship. Like I said, I was going for this gunship on purpose just to prove a point that if you play slow and steady, you play tactically, you stick to the outskirts, you flank, play smart, you'll be able to stay on streaks a lot longer. This game takes a lot of patience, people. We're coming from 2 Call of Duties that required us to play very fast. There was like slide canceling, camera braking, etc., etc. This type of Modern Warfare is slowed down to the maximum, especially with that TTK. So you have to adapt your playstyle. So now that I've gotten out of the gunship, I'm just going to pretty much evaluate the situation where I need to go. Now notice how before I actually make a move, I'm not really going right away. I'm pretty much checking my lines of sight here and lines of sight here before I make my decision. So it's like crossing the street. You got to look both ways first before you cross the street. Now, also, one interesting thing is that look at this little ping, this little circle ping around the minimap. So that is actually the bird's eye perk that you get. So that's a perk that I've actually been talking about for a while now that you guys should be using if you guys are used to watching my videos on the channel. And this perk is actually very overpowered in my opinion. If you take a look at the minimap here, you notice these red triangles. Technically, they're supposed to be triangles, but I don't know what shape to call that. You notice how there's a pointy end here. So that pointy end is the direction that the opponent is looking at. This is a lot better than the normal red dot. And the cool thing about this perk is that once you earn it, you get a free advanced UAV ping, which is absolutely awesome. So you get to see their direction, their movement in real time, which is nice, just like an advanced UAV. And this happens every single time your opponents call in a UAV or you yourself call in a UAV. Imagine if you kept your kill streaks low, just like I am. All it takes is 3 kills to get a UAV. They're going to be sweeping on your minimap pretty frequently. So just like that, pay attention to the minimap. We know exactly where they're at, what direction they're looking at. And although it doesn't seem like much, this actually is pretty insane. So this adds a lot more or a lot less confusion on our end to help us make informed decisions. That's why I really favor this over the Ghost perk. And now if you really like using Ghost, and this is something that I might apply as well, is, carry around like a secondary that has enough ammo, like a launcher or something like that, to take out enemy UAVs or something of that nature. So going back to the gameplay and the strategy, I'm still going to be patrolling this area of the map. Sooner or later, I'm anticipating the spawns to flip. So I'm going to pre-aim down this line of sight. I'm looking at that minimap. I see someone right below me. I take him out before he can take me out because remember, he can probably hear my gun. I'm not using a suppressor on this weapon, so that's why I'm hyper aware of these little things that will make a big difference. So we got another UAV. Take a look at that minimap. Now we got our nice little advanced UAV showing us exactly where the enemy team is. So let's actually go back to this play right here. So I took out that guy looking down the line of sight. Notice how, remember, again, I'm not running down the middle here. I'm actually just looking down this line of sight for potential enemies that I could take out. Okay, get back on this truck, see if I see anyone else, and I'm gonna move on. I don't stay in one spot forever. I keep it moving unless I absolutely have to hold down an area and I'm at a big advantage, then that's a different story. So going back to the claymores, notice where I put it. I put it right here because a lot of people, they're obviously going to be crossing this area. It's a high enemy traffic area. So another spot that I actually like to put it is in this corner right here. So this is a transition area where a lot of people, they come through the middle and then they like to go on this area of the map. So notice how in the beginning of the video, I was talking about zones. I see it in a 4-zone type of map. So right now we're in one specific zone right now. So if you see the cursor here, follow it here. It's this area right here. And then the other zone that I was patrolling where I actually earned my gunship was up here, this top left corner. And then in the beginning of the match, when the match first started, this was the zone that I was patrolling. All right. So that just gives you a really small glimpse into an idea of how to break the game down simpler so that it's a lot easier for you to process where to go, how to hold down areas. Don't overcomplicate things when it comes to this game. Just make the game a little bit easier for you. All right, so now this would be considered its own little zone. So this completes the 4 zones that I was talking about. So we got a line of sight here, and then obviously a line of sight down this way. So this area is obviously a lot easier to hold down, but you're probably not going to come across too many opponents, which is the downside. All right, so there we took out one enemy, and unfortunately we got killed by a shotgun, but there's literally nothing you can do about that there. Bird's Eye is telling me there's people right below me, so I popped my dead silence. That's another field upgrade that you guys should start using. Even though it doesn't 100% completely silence your footsteps, it just makes things a lot harder for the opponent to hear. So any kind of advantage, it goes back to that, I'm going to take it. So I know that they're here, getting ready for this engagement. Easy kill, and that is pretty much the end of the gameplay. So I know this was pretty fast. It is shoot house, so the matches go by pretty fast typically, but hopefully this little breakdown video helped in some way, shape, or form. Remember to reference my previous videos on tips and tricks. It's basically the same format where I break down my gameplay, but it was on different maps, and there are different situations as well for you guys to learn from. It's not just the same thing. You always have different situations. Make sure to leave a like if you guys do enjoy these videos. I'd really appreciate it, and it also motivates me as well to continue making these videos more than I already am. And subscribe to make your way back to the channel. Join Turbo Nation today. Make it official. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good rest of your day.